Sal and Jerry in for Boomer and Gio. The boys will be back tomorrow after an extended weekend off, a holiday weekend, a weekend that saw the Yankees, well, do what they do. They won most of their games, though they did lose one. Didn't play yesterday, which is quite odd. Doesn't make any sense. One of few teams not to play yesterday. Mets with a win last night in Cincinnati. Had a good weekend over Texas. And it was the 4th of July. And with that, I say good morning to one Sal Alexander. Look, how are you, sir? How was your 4th? All right?
What's up with these fireworks, Jerry? And it's not just one night. It's multiple
it's
now.
Every night.
Oh, I mean, what are people doing here? And I guarantee you the majority of people, I like a good fireworks show. Who doesn't, right?
I don't care for them anymore.
I guarantee, right, it does get played. But if you're going, whether it's at a baseball game afterward, I would always get into the fireworks show, or you happen to see them wherever you may be out, like a professional show being done. That's one thing. The majority of people shooting off these fireworks aren't doing it for the show. They're doing it because they think it's fun, because they think it's cool, and then they're doing it on the 2nd, on the 3rd, on the 4th. I guarantee there's going to be some tonight. Yeah, baby, dog going nuts. You can't sleep. You can't enjoy the day. You got to get up early for work the next morning. I hate the idea that you have the holiday, and then you have to be back to work the next morning. So, no, did I enjoy my holiday? I mean, it was all right during the day, but the fireworks at night, then having to be back early this morning, I mean, it wasn't the best of holidays.
I didn't know that's where you were going, but I will tell you, 11:55 last night. So I watched a good majority of the Met game live. Finished it this morning, but I'll go to 7:03, I think it was.
Game ended at 11-ish, right?
Yeah. I went to sleep right before your pal came in to pitch, but whatever. We'll get to that coming up. So 10:55, I wrote this text to my wife. Quote, "Don't these bleeping people have to work tomorrow? Holy bleep with these fireworks." I mean, I couldn't sleep. I mean, I was watching the Met game anyway, so it was fine.
Right.
But at some point, you need to get a little bit of sleep if you're going to get up at 2:45. I was like, I don't think it stopped till midnight.
No.
And it felt like they were in my front lawn.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The booming sounds of it.
Yeah.
And again, it'd be one thing. I remember growing up, it was on the 4th, right? I mean, maybe to your very minimal the day before. Minimal. I'm telling you, we heard the same amount on, what day is today?
Right, Friday, right?
So Sunday night was the same amount as Monday night with the fireworks. It just doesn't end. And what are these people doing it from? Where are they getting it from? Isn't it illegal?
I have no idea what's legal and not. Apparently, you can smoke weed and shoot fireworks off now as much as you'd like. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's annoying. And like I said, you throw in the dog or the baby in the mix. The baby's fussing. I didn't get any good sleep last night. No. And I made a point to go to bed what I thought was early for me, like right after the final out of the Met game. Around, I think it was around 11 o'clock is when it finally ended.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
And I turned the TV off, I would say about 10:30.
Okay. All right. And, I mean, obviously they won, which is a good thing, but it's annoying, Jared, with these damn fireworks, but also just knowing, and look, I love working, who doesn't, but to have that hanging over.
It's stressful.
Yeah, especially getting up early in the morning. But
it is stressful.
Either way.
That is for sure.
You think the majority of people are back to work today?
No.
Okay.
I think this is a big week off for most people.
All right.
And Boomer and Gio will be back tomorrow, so they took the Friday and the Tuesday off to kind of lengthen the weekend, but they'll be back for the rest of the week. I think, if I look back to all the years we've gone away, this week is probably the most popular week I've been off. Obviously not this week, but
right.
I don't know why.
Like 4th of July weekend?
Yeah, right around it. For whatever reason, it's almost like it's the first. My kids got out of school, I think 3 weeks ago. But for the most part, usually you go until the latter stages of June. So it's just like I like the vacation early in the summer as opposed to late, because if it's late and you're looking forward to it, that means summer's gone.
Right.
So I prefer it early. I guess that's probably why we always did this week.
I kind of went right in between. I'm going All-Star break. No baseball. I'm out of here. See you later. So I'll be off that full week.
Well, I was surprised Boomer and Gio were working that week.
Yeah. Well, I remember you and I were going over the schedule a little bit.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Works for me. I'd rather be off, obviously without the games
going on. That's a tough week. That was a tough week.
Yeah. Right. Especially the overnights.
Yeah.
You're going to do four full overnights without any baseball. So anyway, you got to take 1 week during the vacation. And I like this year because, the Yankees are running away with their division. Mets going to be in it August, September, some important games. So you know what? Come August, then you start getting ready for football season as well. I think that All-Star week is the perfect week. Either way, 4th of July week, whatever. People are on vacation left and right. I just hate the idea of having to come back to work the day after the holiday. It's almost like you'd rather have off the day after than the actual holiday. Work the holiday, work early, get home, enjoy yourself at night, then be off.
We could have worked yesterday and not done today.
Yeah, no, I was good having it off.
Right,
It
of
really
course.
wasn't.
He's so stupid.
Really, I just want more time, I guess. Right.
All right, so the weekend was nothing interesting about it. The Mets did what they needed to do. The Yankees did what you expected them to do. But I did find it interesting. So watching last night, in terms of the start to the Red Series, which I think is a 4-game series, if I'm not mistaken, you got now all this ground that the Braves made up. Now all of a sudden you've got the Braves playing the likes of the Cardinals this week. The Mets now get the Reds, who I think beat the Braves on Sunday in their last turn at bat. That was Sunday afternoon because I was at Citi Field. We were kind of watching the scoreboard.
I was at Applebee's watching.
Okay.
Nice little family day at Applebee's. Man, I haven't been
Very
to Applebe's
nice.
in years. Have you been? And every time I go there, I'm like, damn, this place is great.
Not
Why
in
don't
a
we go
while,
more?
but we used to go all the time.
Yeah, me
That
too.
was the kid's favorite place growing up. I don't know why.
My wife was like, we have the baby. Let's go somewhere nice atmosphere. I was like, Applebee's is good. I used to love their food. It was fun going in.
Look
Nobody
at
was
you,
there.
a Licata outing.
Yeah, you got the Yankees in Cleveland on one screen. I got the Mets and Rangers on the other, following the Braves score.
This was when? This was Sunday?
Sunday, yeah. Sunday afternoon. We did a little shopping at the outlet. A nice little family day.
Now, was no one there because you went for dinner at 4 o'clock?
It was, Jared, the place was so empty that I had my wife go, because I don't want to do that and embarrass myself. I had her go out to make sure it was open.
Yeah.
It looked like it was shut down. She's like, I don't want to go. I'm like, no, come on, go. You're right there. You're there. She goes in, and
What
they
time
were
was
open.
it?
There was nobody there. It was, I would say, around, what time did the Met game end?
4:40.
So, right, so I would say around 3:30 we got
geez.
there. 3:34.
You went in between.
Yeah.
Of course there's nobody there.
I guess so, right?
You go at noon or you go at 6.
Yeah, we're on the kids' time. Lunch, she takes a nap, then we leave for the outlets. Then we go to the outlets, then we got to leave from there, whatever. So we were hungry, went to Applebee's. It was great. Anyway, watch that. I saw the highlight during the Mets game that showed that because the Braves were winning. Then they were winning 1-0. Reds came back. I think it scored 3. Then, of course, the Braves.
The two, they hit home runs to tie the game on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Something like that.
I did see, because once I saw the Reds go up 3-1, I figured, all right, good. The Reds are going to get this win. And then I just saw the score. But either way, you were at the Met game on Sunday. Who'd you go with, both boys?
No, just Matthew. We went, and I made the mistake of trying to sit behind home plate, not down, but upper.
Right.
In the 400s or second row. There wasn't a cloud in the sky all day, and there was no cover. And it was warm, but it was a beautiful day. The crowd was good. Not great. It was good. And it was one of those days. You know what Sunday reminded me of when they beat the Rangers? A game that they're supposed to win, and the Rangers looked like they wanted to get the hell out of there.
Right.
And I don't know. The Mets are just kind of going about their business. It's funny. You look, and I think because of what the Yankees are doing, we're downplaying what the Mets have done so far. The Mets are on pace to win 100 games right now. Maybe even 101, 102. Who knows?
Right.
Any other year, you would be looking at them like, damn, they're on pace to win 100 games. The problem is you've got a Yankee team that's on pace to win 116 games, and it's almost as if like, good for you. You got your 100 wins. Now they're 50 and 30 right now, and I can make every case that they've been, okay over the last month. Not great, and statistically that's true, and record-wise it's true. But they're 50 and 30, and now you've got Scherzer coming back tonight. You had DeGrom pitch the minor league start. I know it was 2 innings.
How great
but
was
still,
that watching that?
Yeah, and it's like, man, they're 50 and 30, and they haven't even had these two guys for the majority of the season.
That's why you got to be excited if you're a Met fan. That's why people like myself, Jared, believe in this team. And you're right, it shouldn't go overlooked. Now, I was annoyed last week, not with the Houston series, but the fact that they couldn't sweep the Marlins. And a series against the Rangers, you'd like to see them sweep, but this is what the Mets do. They didn't sweep. They did take 2 of 3, but they beat a team that they were supposed to beat. How many times in years past, frustrating loss, and they lose 2 of 3 on that Sunday game, and that's what they would do. This year, without really any issue, they go out there and win that game. They followed up with a performance against Cincinnati that you would expect, even though they get up 3-0. Boom, the Reds come back, big 3-run homer, tie game against Taijuan Walker. The Mets find a way to win that ball game. That's what they've been doing all year long. And you're right, Scherzer back tonight. DeGrom throwing 100 miles an hour in his first rehab start.
Yeah.
He's expected to start his second rehab, I think, on Friday. He's coming back soon. And even with the Braves refusing to lose and winning all these games here, the Mets still in first place all year. And I think they're getting better, Jared. And don't forget, they're going to add as well, whether it's adding Trevor May coming back from injury in a couple of weeks to help out that bullpen, or adding some pieces at the trade deadline, whether it be a bat or another arm or two on that staff, if not just in that pen.
Right, and you mentioned Trevor May, and I mentioned Scherzer and DeGrom. I mean, you look at it, and we have fun with Boomer all the time when he talks about it. But it's like making not one, but it's like making 2 or 3 moves at the deadline without having to make a move. And then on top of that, if you do add to this lineup, damn, like I don't want to say that. I don't want to say this improperly. They should, you would think, cruise into the postseason if they stay healthy, because they've weathered a lot of storms already. And we're only in, July 5th? And you think of what they've gotten through, and they've maintained, the lead in division. But again, they're 20 games over 500. And I can make every case that this could have turned out to be a complete disaster, not in terms of knocking them out of any contention or anything like that, but you could be looking up at the Braves at this point had they not kind of, and maybe it's the Buck Showalter effect. I don't know, but there's that calming influence over them when they do lose a game or two. You don't feel like that 5, 6, 7 game losing streak is coming, that they'll figure out a way to win a couple of games here and there. And they had that, they had that stretch in California, and they were a 500 team for a little bit. But that's a hell of a lot better than being 4, 5, 6 games under.
Right. Think about what a bad month is for this team now. Well, 13-12 in June. Oh, that's a bad month. Well, a bad month for them used to be 6-20 or whatever it was.
That's a stabilizing month.
Yeah, right. Whatever. Okay, they're not going to be great every single month. Not everybody can be the Yankees. And I do think, by the way, to your point, it just shows how dominant the Yankees have been, that the Mets are flying under the radar. They've had the best team in the National League pretty much all year long. Even now, the first team to 50. I know the Dodgers won 50 as well, and right now have a half-game better record than the Mets do. But that's how good the Mets have been, the best team in the National League. And it still doesn't feel like that yet. Remember, too, last year they lose DeGrom, and what do? They completely fold up. This year they're not relying on DeGrom or even Scherzer to be saviors. They've talked about that. Lindor has mentioned we can't look at these guys to come back and be saviors for us. Well, they haven't. Now, they need them, at least one of the guys to come back, but they haven't been saviors. Without them, they would still stay afloat. Could they win a World Series without Scherzer or DeGrom? Absolutely not. But they've been still the best team in the National League without those two. And I'm telling you, Jared, getting Scherzer back tonight, oh my God, it's going to make a huge difference. And knowing DeGrom looking the way that he did, and I'm still nervous about him. You don't know how much you could trust him. But if they get him back, look the bleep out, because the Mets are going to be legitimate, if they aren't already, when you had the two best pitchers, arguably, in Major League Baseball. Yeah,
and I know DeGrom, I know there was, the stories written about him throwing 100 miles an hour, 101. And I love what Buck Showalter said, because I guess the story was written that there are those in the organization that weren't thrilled with seeing that. They wanted him to dial it back a little bit. But Showalter basically said, what do you want him to do? Like, he's out there competing. Yeah, it's single A, Port St. Lucie, whatever. It's also his first. When was the last time he was on the mound in a professional baseball game? I don't mean throwing side sessions and, throwing from 100 feet or whatever the hell they do on the field down there. He hasn't pitched in a year. So I would think the adrenaline's going, and he's going out there and just doing what he does. And you know what? It was only 2 innings, but it's a heck of a start. And now Friday you said will be his next one. And
I think, his second one.
What I'm curious about is what they need to see, like how much they need him to ramp up before we see him back with the Mets. I would think it's July 5th. Is it too much to ask that by the last week of July?
Yeah, I think you're going post All-Star break.
Oh, no, 100%.
Right. So, but I think he'll come personally.
You don't think we're talking, mid-August?
No. I think you're going to see him lined up. As a matter of fact, I would be surprised at this point, barring any setback. Obviously, if there's a setback, forget it. Barring a setback, I would expect him to be in that rotation to start the second half. I'm not going to say right
after
the
All-Star break.
Yeah, right
Which
after
is
the
what?
All-Star
So the All-Star game is the 18th? Does that sound right?
Yeah, that week. That's the week.
That's the week of the 18th.
Yes.
So
I'm not sure the exact
So then
day.
the All-Star game's the 19th. So you're probably talking about 2021, so the 22nd, 23rd, right around there.
They come back that Thursday or Friday, I'm not sure.
I
the
always
Yankees
assume
might come back that Thursday. I forget if the Mets come back
Either
that
way.
Yeah.
That you're talking the third week of July, though.
I believe.
If all goes well.
Yeah. I would think, because you're talking about now what? That's 2 weeks away? 3 weeks away?
Well, you're 3 weeks, yeah.
Right, okay, 3 weeks away. So, if he has his second rehab start, now it is different than Scherzer.
It's a lot different. That's why, to me, August is not off the table. Like, if you told me the first week in August, that makes – he pitched 6 batters.
For the record, I would not rush him. I'm just assuming that.
Right.
I'm assuming he'll be ready to go, but maybe I am wrong. Maybe I'm off by a week or so. Whatever they feel the need to, there's no rush. Scherzer's back now. They're still in first place. No rush whatsoever. Just make sure that he's healthy. But I'll tell you, it got me excited when I have kind of been not dismissing DeGrom's return, but not anticipating it, because I don't think it's something you can count on. I've said that plenty of times. But watching those highlights of him firing away, I don't know how you don't get beyond excited as a Met fan thinking about what could be something that just didn't even seem realistic. Meanwhile, that's how the team was built coming into the year, but it hasn't seemed realistic since when DeGrom went down prior to opening day.
Well, just because you've seen what was and what can be again. And so now you put him with Scherzer, and if he's healthy, away you go. And I would be careful with him.
I think win the World Series legitimately.
I think you've got every chance to do it because if you look around the National League, I don't want to say win the World Series. Let's talk about getting there first because I'm not going to dismiss what the Yankees are doing.
Sure.
But if you're talking about just getting there, you find me a better 1-2.
There's not.
There's not at all. In the National League, as good as the Dodgers always seem to be, they don't have the same top two pitchers that I don't think that the Mets have. So
and you talk about a postseason series.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
We could get them 4 times.
And that is why I've said this before. Now, again, I still have my reservations about DeGrom. There's one thing about him coming back. There's another thing about him staying healthy and performing at that level throughout the course of October. That's what they need to win the World Series. But I've said this before. I don't think anybody's stopping the Yankees. I think one team that could, with DeGrom and Scherzer, would be the Mets. Now, without them, they don't have a chance.
But they have to have them healthy and doing what they do.
Yeah, they with those two atop their rotation, they can beat anybody.
Agreed. Especially, again, 4 times in a best-of-7 game series. That's tough to match up with.
Oh, man, seeing them got me excited.
How about if you were those before we take a break, how about if you were those minor leaguers yesterday or whenever it was with DeGrom the other day? Al and I talk about this all the time. Like when Scherzer was pitching for the Rumble Ponies, like, A, if you're on the team, you look around, it's like, dude, there's Max Scherzer.
Right.
Or B, if you're the opposing team, you're going up against Max Scherzer. Well, here in this case, there's DeGrom in a Port St. Lucie or St. Lucie Mets, whatever the hell, like that camo jersey. Like, there's probably, because that's A-ball. So I've got to think you've got 19 and 20-year-olds out there up and down that lineup that got to be thinking, wow. That's DeGrom. If you were one of the few that got to face him, at least.
And A-ball, isn't that weird thing about you seeing a historically good pitcher?
Sure.
Oh, I mean,
nothing unusual though.
Yeah, I know, but still to be able to get in there, and then it does. And I've heard you and Al talk about this before. Like somebody gets a hit off of Scherzer in Double A, and it's like, how'd this guy take him deep? He's a Double A player taking Max Scherzer deep, but these guys are working on certain things.
They're all pros.
Single A, those guys didn't have a chance.
They're still professionals.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you think about how good, college baseball is at the highest of levels. They're damn good players. It's not like they can't hit a 95-mile-an-hour. You ever watch any of college baseball? These kids throw hard.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's that unusual.
But still, DeGrom,
they're not Superman.
Did you see the thing I loved? I don't know if we talked about it or you talked about it last week, too, where I love that Scherzer with the big spread afterward.
Oh, yeah. The food that he got.
I love that when the major leaguers do that after their rehab assignment. It's just cool. I know
only making $1 million to not start so far this year.
No, right? I get it.
$43 million. And he's made how many starts so far? How many will he make this year?
20 something?
Yeah.
Because he missed a month of action,
at least
basically.
a month, maybe even a little longer than that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
He might make 25 starts.
All right, which
not
would be
bad.
a lot.
$1.5 million per start.
Jeez,
would you take that?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's not even an everyday player.
And now that I think about it, it's the least Scherzer could do. Would he spend $7,000 on dinner? I mean, my
That's
God,
exactly right. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get CeeLo in. It is a busy Tuesday, sort of. Sal and Jerry in for Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.